The West has a memory of the goldfish. They've forgotten time and again that terror groups like Al-Qaeda found a safe haven in Pakistan. Haqqani network, responsible for the deaths of numerous NATO and American troops in Pakistan, received a safe haven from the ISI. Terrorists have safe haven and security from the ISI on Pakistan soil even today. The Indian government has often invited Pakistani agencies to join in several investigations in the past. Either that has received denial or a rebuke. Then a joint investigation team were invited from Pakistan to visit Pathankot Air Base in 2016 after the attack. Guess what the Pakistani probe eventually concluded? That this was a false flag operation by India to malign Pakistan. A Pakistani citizen, Shahzeb Khan, is being extradited to the United States of America. He was arrested last year by the Canadian authorities. What is the charge against him? Plotting to kill random Jewish civilians in the United States of America. As per FBI Director Kash Patel, Shahzeb Khan was planning a Hamas-style attack in New York City that was to be executed on 7th October 2024, basically on the anniversary of the Hamas attack in Israel. The plan, though, fortunately was foiled. He was arrested in September by the Canadian authorities and now he will have to face the law on American soil. Pakistan's connection to a terror attack is not new, and the United States of America should know better. Meanwhile, watch how Pakistan leaders are trying to whitewash, instead now playing victim in the USA as if they have nothing to do with either the launch pads, the terror outfits, or the terror attacks from India to the United States of America.
We have not discussed terrorism. When is the last time that Pakistan and India had a conversation about terrorism? We have no intelligence sharing over terrorism. We have no coordination over terrorism. So how are we meant to combat terrorism?
He's a public representative. The same man earlier had said either water or blood will flow after India had put the Indus Water Treaty in abeyance after Pahalgam terror attack, where 26 innocent men were butchered by Pakistan-sponsored terrorists in Kashmir. So is this a change of heart now by Bilawal Bhutto Zardari to suggest that the intelligence agencies of India and Pakistan cooperate with one another to reduce terrorism in South Asia? Basically, he means that India's research and analysis wing, the RAW as we call it, should actively work with Pakistan Inter-Services Intelligence Agency, which is the ISI. In an ideal world, yes, of course, sure. Not when the ISI clearly is known to be orchestrating infiltration and organizing terror attacks on Indian soil against Indians. Bilawal Bhutto Zardari is being seen as the next big leader. He is among the young ones and has a political legacy. He's after all the son of former Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto. He's also the grandson of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, again the former Prime Minister of Pakistan. Both these Prime Ministers were killed. One was publicly hanged after the government overthrown by General Zia-ul Haq, a dictator. His own mother was assassinated in a bomb attack, and the blame of which was also pinned on the ISI, the same organization that Bilawal Bhutto Zardari today wants India to work with. A United Nations report from 2010 blamed the then army government, led by Parvez Musharraf, for not providing adequate security, attempting to destroy evidence, and not conducting a proper autopsy of the mortal remains. And anyone who knows Pakistan knows that army and the ISI are in tandem always. After Benazir Bhutto's assassination in 2007 December, her own party leaders, the Pakistan People's Party, openly claimed that ISI is the #1 accused for the murder of Benazir Bhutto. So Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, never a word against family members' murderers, but constantly spewing venom against India. And for some reason, the Pakistani leaders expect the world to believe they have nothing to do with what's happening with regard to terror attacks. जैसे कि वो दूध के धुले हुए हैं. Whether Kargil War 1999 or 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks, the ISI has been constantly accused with evidence, confessional statements of arrested terrorists, enough evidence on the ground that they have been using non-state actors like the terror organization like the Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed, or new frontal outfits that have come in to launch and conduct attacks on Indian soil, targeting innocent Indians. Ajmal Kasab was caught alive. David Coleman Headley's interrogation all had proven very clearly ISI's role in these attacks. We know it. Indians have always known it. Sadly, the USA still asks for more evidence. Western nations, for some reason, want to give benefit of doubt to the Pakistan agencies. But it's now, of course, been knocking on their door too. You watch these extremist Khalistan violent protests on the soil of Western nations. It's never for the Punjab in Pakistan, but always about Punjab and against India. Burning Prime Minister Modi's posters, putting assassination threats on our diplomats, targeting random Indians. All of this has been captured on camera. Is this simply freedom of expression? Or is this an ISI plan to fuel anti-India anger to which, sadly, members of the Sikh community, and especially in this regard, the Khalistanis, are falling prey to? Agencies in India have maintained that even in our Punjab, tensions have been escalating because of ISI funding Khalistani extremism through different means. And so I want to touch down an important point here. The Indian government has often invited Pakistani agencies to join in several investigations in the past. Either that has received denial or a rebuke. The 2008 Mumbai terror attacks, the Manmohan Singh government then had invited Pakistan to assist. They said there is enough evidence that Pakistan can take action on. It were the powerful generals in Rawalpindi that opposed it. Then a joint investigation team were invited from Pakistan to visit Pathankot Air Base in 2016 after the attack. Guess what the Pakistani probe eventually concluded? That this was a false flag operation by India to malign Pakistan. India even sent DNA samples of terrorists along with judicial request after the Uri attacks in 2016. Again, the evidence was ignored by Pakistan. So we've been down that road before. We know exactly what lies at the end of that tunnel. No surprise that this time, after the Pahalgam terror attacks, rather than extend a hand of friendship or share evidence with Pakistan or bother with that kind of procedural issues, India went on the offensive. India decided to instead send an all-party Member of Parliament delegation across the world to be able to tell them what exactly has been happening in the region. And now Pakistan wants a joint probe. Sadly, what is happening at the United Nations? Is it a procedure or a shocker? Pakistan is now set to chair the UNSC Taliban Sanctions Committee in 2025. They'll also get to serve as the vice chair of the UNSC's Counter-Terror Committee. Well, I'm wishing the United Nations all the very best if they have hope that global terror will now be curbed because Pakistan is in some way at the helm of affairs on an important chair. The West has a memory of the goldfish. They've forgotten time and again that terror groups like Al-Qaeda found a safe haven in Pakistan. Haqqani network, responsible for the deaths of numerous NATO and American troops in Pakistan, received a safe haven from the ISI. Terrorists have safe haven and security from the ISI on Pakistan's soil even today. The Taliban, against whom the Sanctions Committee is supposed to work, is operating even from within Pakistan, at least not till long ago, till they had trouble at the Afghan-Pakistan border. All of this has had a Pakistan connect. So as I conclude this episode of Homeland, all I'll say is, India can only alert the world, alarm the countries, especially of the Western nations. Rest, they will decide how their country needs to run and how they can keep their people safe. I hope it's not too late till they realize what they've been supporting. Thank you for watching.